ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Cutting Edge Ed, where we are dropping the seed for your expertise. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to talk about what programming language should you learn? I get this question posed quite often when someone wants to learn how to program. Whether it is to be a coder or a software engineer. And I'm here to tell you, based on my opinion, and it's actually backed by data, that the best programming language to start learning, even if you're a beginner, is JavaScript. JavaScript is a browser-based programming language, which basically means you use it on the web. Now, there are some instances where you can use it outside of a browser, but primarily it is a browser-based programming language. Now, of course, some will debate that it's a scripting language, but for the most part, it has all of the intricacies that most programming languages have, like functions, methods, variables, setting parameters and stuff like that. So it's a great language to start off with. Now, you also can use different JavaScript libraries, and one of the most popular ones, in my opinion, is React.js. Facebook uses it, Netflix uses it, and a ton of other major corporations use React.js. So, in my opinion, if you learn JavaScript, you're well on your way. Now, one thing that I do suggest if you are going to learn any programming language is to make sure that you get certified in that language. I basically was, teaching myself HTML, CSS back in 1998 before, they had all these automated systems that people are using today where, you really don't need a web developer. You literally could build a site in less than an hour if you know what you're doing, using all sorts of platforms and tools that they have out now. But when I started, I used to type with a completely blank screen and just start, hammering away with ideas and layouts. And then fast forward many years later, when the iPhone came out and they decided to launch an SDK, I was super interested in learning how to program. I did try to learn it years and years ago, but it was basically with macros, and that was definitely not the kind of higher level programming language you probably want to start with. So definitely I would go with JavaScript, maybe even attach a library like React.js to your learning experience. You might be wondering, okay, what is all that? What do I do next, right? So the next thing you'd want to do is download an IDE. I would suggest Visual Studio Code, the free version, and or Atom, ATOM, Atom. Either one of those IDEs, I think you will enjoy your coding experience. They have a lot of different things that you can utilize to make your experience a lot better as you're learning. But yeah, I wanted to answer that question because a lot of people, if they don't even know what programming is, they might hear programming and go, well, what is that? Well, what is it? It is a language for computers or devices. And I believe JavaScript is the first programming language you should learn. Now, if you decide, you've nailed that out the ballpark and now you want to try something else, I would suggest you do it based on, your goal. So if, for example, you'd like to program for the iPhone, then you'd want to learn Swift. If you'd like to program for the Android, then you want to learn Java. So I think it depends on your goals where you want to go after JavaScript. But I definitely think JavaScript is the first language you should learn. And definitely use Visual Studio Code or Atom to get started. And do that infamous test to make sure all is connected and running well with the Hello World initial test, right? And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, I may just show a little bit of what I mean, maybe in another section of this series. So we'll see. I also suggest if you do decide to learn any programming language, to get certified in it so that people know that you are an expert and understand what you're doing. And that's your proof. So if you do decide to hop in and learn JavaScript, get the certification. That's just a bit of advice that I thought I'd share, since I did get that question quite often asked, is what programming language should you start with? And that's the one, JavaScript. Start with JavaScript. That's pretty much all I have for now. If you haven't already checked out my previous video where I gave a great software, a link to a website that I think you should definitely check out if you're into like 3D animation and you want to learn how to make 3D worlds or 3D modeling. I think you should check that video out and take a look at one of the sites I referenced. I think it's really great. All right, that's all I've got, guys. I'm signing off.